Hello Magic fans, I'm Beef and welcome back to another standard gameplay video, this time featuring a white, green or Selesnya enchantment deck. So we did play an enchantment deck when Duskmourn first released. I think it was the first deck we did play, which was white-blue, so we are seeing a lot of the same cards, but we have gone with white-green today. And for those who don't know, traditionally enchantment based decks and synergies are in white-green, but for this set they have done it in white blue for some reason. So what cards do we have? So cards we have seen before: Optimistic Scavenger. Whenever an enchantment we control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Also triggers when we fully unlock a room, but we don't have any rooms. Ethereal Armor. Enchanting creature gets +1/+1 for each enchantment we control on first strike. We have so many enchantments, very powerful. Child Maze's Rescue. It's a flash enchantment. Enchanting creature we control. Creature gets +1/+1, and if it's the turn that Child Mage's Rescue entered, enchanting creature gains hexproof, so this is some protection. Feather of Flight, 2 mana flash, enchanting creature gets +1/+0 and flying, and when it ETBs we draw a card. Shielded by Ghost is such a bonkers card. A 2 mana enchant creature we control. When it enters, exile any target non-land permanent opponent controls until it leaves the battlefield. Enchanting creature gets +1/+0 and has lifelink and ward 2. And then I don't think we played Enduring Innocence in the previous deck, but it's a 3 mana 2/1 with lifelink. It says whenever one or more creatures we control with power 2 or less enter, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn, but like all the enduring creatures from Duskmourn, when it dies, if it's a creature when it's turned in the battlefield under its owner's control, it's an enchantment. So we only have 2 of these as a kind of top end to help draw. So what do we gain by being in green? So the most important card really is Toadstool Admirer. It's a 1 mana 1/1 common, but it has ward 2. And then we can also pay 3 and a green to put +1/+1 counter on the Toadstool Admirer. That ward 2 is incredibly powerful. It means that our opponent pretty much can't take care of it until turn 3, unless they have a sacrifice effect like Sheoldred's Edict, which sometimes they do. But that is huge. And for people who don't know, there is a kind of deck called Boggles. Back in Magic's history, Boggles are small creatures like the Toadstool Admirer that have hexproof, and the idea is it's a Voltron kind of creature. You just put everything you can onto it, and it's obviously really hard for your opponent to take care of. We're going something similar with this deck. So we do have 2 copies of Atomical Honor Guard as well. A 2 mana 3/1 which also has ward 2. So we also have Audacity, a 1 mana enchantment, enchanting creature gets +2/+0 and trample, and when it's put into a graveyard from the battlefield we draw a card. Innkeeper's Talent we have seen before. It's a class for 2 mana, and its level 1 is when beginning of combat on our turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature we control. It's when we level it up to level 2 for 1 green, it says permanents we control counters on have ward 1. This is great with Toadstool Admirer because we can buff it with the talent and give it an extra ward, basically giving it ward 3. And if we have Sheltered by Ghost on it, it's got ward 5, which is obviously not impossible to take care of, but pretty difficult. And then we can level it up to level 3 for 4, and it basically doubles the amount of counters that we put on to a permanent. And then finally we have 2 copies of Calix, Guided by Fate, a 3 mana 2/2 as Constellation. Whenever it or another enchantment we control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. So very similar to Optimistic Scavenger. The only difference between Eerie and Constellation is Eerie triggers on fully unlocking rooms, whereas Constellation is just enchantments. And then whenever Calix or an enchanted creature we control deals combat damage to the player, we may create a token copy that's a token that's a copy of a non-legendary enchantment we control. Do so only once each turn. So we can copy our Ethereal Armor and put it on another creature, or copy our Sheltered by Ghost to take out another non-land permanent, or maybe copy our Enduring Innocence to get that card trigger again. So only 2 of these. This is a bit of a win more, but obviously it's very good to get in for on our 3rd turn. What would be great is like a Toadstool Admirer, Sheltered by Ghost to clear the way, or Ethereal Armor, Calix, attack in, they don't block, we create another Ethereal Armor attached to the Calix. We'll get multiple triggers from Calix entering and another armor triggering and destroy our board by a massive amount. It can also copy obviously the talents as well. Mana base: 6 plains, 4 forests, 4 brushlands, 4 Hushwood Verges, and 4 Razor Verge Frigate. I did have a bit of issue with mana in this deck. I don't know why. We did have a few times where we just had all plains or all forests, even though we do have 12 lands that can play both, and obviously you've got very low curves, only 22 lands. So is the deck good? As I said earlier, blue-white is the colour pair for enchantments in Duskmourn, so there's not a huge amount of support for white-green. So there's not many small creatures. We've only got, 4 8 1-drops, a 2-drop, and then 4 3-drops. There's not many other cards in these colour pair that you'd want to bother having in this deck. We also had problems with the mana base. I don't know why. We have pretty much every dual land we can. Obviously, we've not gone for Lush Portico versus Valland because you don't want lands to enter tapped. And we've not gone for the slow land that only enters untapped if you've got 2 or more lands. Because again, you want, with such a low curve, you want that early plays. It's really good against kind of like similar aggro decks. But you need to go first. As I said, if you can go turn 1 Toadstool and Myra, turn 2 Sheltered by Ghost to take out their only creature, you're laughing basically, and then go from there. Because of the low creature count, it does really suffer against Shoulders, Egypt, and Liliana. Those sacrifice effects, having a huge warded Toadstool and Myra or Optimistic Scavengers doesn't really do anything if our opponent calls to sacrifice their creature. So it does struggle there. But yeah, it's a pretty fun deck. I do prefer the white-blue version, but that's just because it has more support in these colours. There is also a white-red version where instead of these warded creatures, basically you just play Heartfire Hero and the Ember something champion, the 2/2 with haste and prowess. But that's very similar to the mono-red prowess deck, which no one really likes. So haven't played that one yet, might do in the future. Hope you all enjoy this. If you do, please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in my gameplay. Opponent goes first, but we do have a pretty good hand. Although Verge only produces green, but we only need 1 white for Calix. So we play, we do Myra into Talent unless we draw another 1-drop. You can't target it. Obviously, with nowhere to run in Standard, then that could be an issue. Next turn we can Calix. Or maybe play out an Myra and an Audacity. And then level up the talent. And that's what we do. So see now it has Ward 1 and Ward 2. We'll play out Calix. Swing in. We will create a token of let's create a token of Audacity and let's attach it to Calix. do draw a card. Let's play out the Innocence. And then the Scavenger. I know we don't get a counter this way, but I'd rather draw. Let's buff up our life linker. Well, it's not exactly what we wanted to draw. It's not bad. We can pump mana into our Toadstool Admirer as well. Come on. They have 12. They have 12 power. Make that 15 power. There was not a stick. They do create a treasure. That's what we wanted to see. Let's buff our Enduring Innocence. And yeah, we were about to get... Let's see if we could work this out. So we're about to get 4 counters, 2 each. So we could go up to 9, up to 12, another 2 from talent. So maybe up to 11, and then we could buff the Toadstool up to 14 with another activation of its ability. So we'd have, what, 25 trample, and they had 2, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so they were dead. We were going to gain a lot of life as well. Opponent goes first. This is not a keepable hand. We are missing white mana. This is better. I think we put back at second. Toadstool and Myra. We can play the Scavenger and the Ethereal Armour, buffing our Toadstool Myra quite a bit. Our opponent on the Azorius white-blue version. And next turn we can play Calix. But we are in a race. Don't have a counter. We can copy our Ethereal Armour. And I think we put it on Calix. That way you can block the Scavenger. I don't think that does it. We are down to 1. But Feather of Flight should get us there. And we get the good game. Yeah. Just a bit quicker than our opponent. We go first with an unkeepable hand, unfortunately. This is better. I think we have to get... We put back... Do we put back a land? Let's put back Feather of Flight. That was a good draw. Hitting for 3. Let's see what they've got. So now our scavenger does have walled. I like this art on the anchorage. We probably missed out on a Calix trigger there. Let's try and replay the talent. They're down to 8. There doesn't seem to be any sticks, so I don't think they've got into the flood more. But I could be wrong. Well, they are tapped out. So we can remove their Baser. And for ultimate BM, they're down to -6, we're up to 38. Opponent goes first. But we have an okay hand. Well, if they have interaction, we can Shard Mage's Rescue. Sorry, so to mute my mic. A helicopter went by outside. In fact, a lot of things are going by outside. Well, our opponent has taken their time. They clearly have something. Come on down, the man. Seeing Virtue in this kind of deck's very weird. Next turn we can Ethereal Armour and maybe Feather Flight, or maybe we just Calix. Yeah, let's just Calix. Let's diversify our counters. But let's copy Ethereal Armour. Put it on Calix. They might just be able to kill us. Doing 14, 2 cards. No, we're still alive. And for 1 black, I don't think they can do 3 to us. And yeah, opponent figures that one out as well. We go first with a capable hand. I would quite like to see a target for Sheltered by Ghosts. Such as that. No. Obviously we do have another one now. We'll play out the talent. Seeing as they won't be able to take care of our scavenger because it's got basically got walk 3. We can upgrade the talent. I think we just have lethal. Obviously, they may have a... I don't know if there's a flash creature they have in red-white. But yeah, we did keep up Child Mage Rescue in case they had something. I don't know what they could have. In fact, nothing could have taken out our creature since they had Ward 3 and they only had 3 mana. Opponent goes first, but we have an okay hand. Wall 2 on the Toadstool Admirer means it should be harder to deal with. Well, we can Audacity our Admirer and then Ethereal Armor it. Hit him for 5. Well, we can Innkeeper's Talent, Ethereal Armor again. And Wall 2, well, it's got 10 power, 10 toughness. There's not a lot mono red can do about that, especially with Ward 2. And obviously it has trample as well. It was unlikely they're going to be able to do 17 to us. Let's go full in. Down to minus 13. Yeah, a very, very big Toadstool. We are on the play with a pretty good hand. We can Optimistic Scavenger into Feather of Flight, which draws a card and obviously buff our Scavenger. Would quite like a Shard Mage's Rescue. Would also quite like another creature. Our opponent is on the black-white Reanimator deck. There's another Scavenger. But they must have more removal. Could Shelter by Ghost just to give it extra walled, but if they have something, they can just do it in response. What we'll do is basically sacrifice Audacity and Feather of Flight. But obviously they can, if they can remove our Scavenger, they can get Valgavoth back. And because Valgavoth was still on the battlefield, yeah, that's game over.